All right. So we will have our Q&A about sacraments of commitment and service. I will be answering some of the questions, most of the questions that you have asked, that you have written, that you have submitted. So I hope that you will watch until the end and you learn from the comments, from the questions. So I will be answering this as your teacher and as a believer of the sacraments. So we have questions. The first two questions: what makes a sacramental marriage different from civil marriage? Of course, it's really different because when we say the the sacrament of marriage, it is moral at the same time legal. It is being acknowledged by the church and the state. However, the civil marriage is only acknowledged by the state, not by the church. And of course, in terms of the ordinary minister, ordinary, I the one who will preside the the sacrament. We have the priest for the sacrament of matrimony, and then for the civil marriage, the the government official. Okay. For question number two, if one of the purposes of marriage is openness to procreation, can a marriage still be considered successful and complete when a couple is unable to have children? Of course. That is still marriage. That is still marriage, even if the couple cannot bear children. So the point is openness. They are open to procreation. They're open, however, they cannot conceive. So infertility does not invalidate or diminish the sacredness of a marriage. The requirement is an openness to life, a willingness to welcome children if they come, not the biological ability to actually conceive. That's why sex is within the sacrament, within marriage, that is after the ceremony, not before. Because the point is the couple must be open to procreation because of the sacrament. Since there are two ends of the sacrament of marriage, unitive and procreative. When we say unitive, the two become one, and then procreative, then the openness to life, the openness to having children. Another set of questions: does the Catholic Church still permit a couple to get married if the other person is not Catholic? Yes, as long as uh, the non-Catholic will have a permit, he or she will ask a permit from his or her church so that he or she will be permitted to get married in the Catholic Church. So there are also requirements. There are also requirements. So still they can be permitted. That's why you have to talk about. You have to talk about it. And if you have different religions, it's difficult. But if you are both Christians, it would be much easier compared to different religions. Question number two: if the vows of the couple are the form, then what is the significance? The ring is the visible symbol. Whenever you have to wear your wedding ring, so whenever you see your wedding ring, you'll be reminded of your vows. So the rings are the material seal and tangible symbol of the couple's vows. Another set of questions: how do the promises made in holy orders compare with the vows made in matrimony? These are sacraments of commitment and service, so they both commit to God, to serve and to be faithful to the vows. However, the sacrament of holy orders, they will serve the church, so they also have a reign. Okay, that's why they should not get married. While matrimony, it's it's an exchange of the spouses of the man and the woman. Under what conditions can the church declare a marriage null through an annulment or annulment? The Catholic Church is against separation, against divorce, against divorce. That's why we are against divorce in our country, because that is of course of our faith and what we believe about marriage. So before you get married, make sure that you can really be faithful to your vows until death. So what is often referred to as a marriage annulment in the church is actually a declaration by a church tribunal, a Catholic church court. So we also have a court in the Catholic Church. We also have lawyers, canonical lawyers. But I can remember a priest mentioned that whenever he will process, he will ask couples who would like to be separated to get this to have their marriage to be declared for their marriage to be declared null and void. The last question, is there still a possibility to reconcile? If that is a yes, then it's not possible. So there are different there are many reasons. So if getting married is difficult, you have many preparations, I believe getting your marriage be declared null and void will have a double or triple stress on the couple. So you have to think about it if this is really for you. Pray for your vocation. Okay? So because when we speak of the Catholic marriage, there are 5 elements. So the free consent, so meaning the spouses are free to marry, both are single. That's why you have to ask a certificate that you are single from the government, from the PSA. And then they freely exchange the consent. No one is forcing you to say yes, I do. In consenting to marry, you have the intention to marry for life, not only contractual, because marriage, the sacrament of marriage is not a contract. It's not good for a year only or for 10 years, but it is for life. To be faithful to one another and be open to children, so procreative again. They intend to they intend the good of each other. Their consent is given in the presence of witnesses. So again, the priest also becomes a witness and properly authorized church minister. Another set of questions: why are some people treat marriage like a contract? Oh, they don't really understand this kind of vocation, this commitment. So for Catholics, make sure that you are ready physically, spiritually for this, emotionally for this lifetime commitment. How do we tell to people that same-sex marriage is not acceptable in any way? Of course, we will not just tell to anyone, to any member of the LGBTQIA plus plus, that oh, what they are doing is not acceptable. However, we have to be reminded that we have the church is universal. It's acceptable, accepting, welcoming. So and we have to be compassionate So all are welcome in the church because we are all called to all holiness. It means that we are all invited to follow Jesus, and all are invited to look for conversion in their lives. We pray that they will still have this conversion because we are not against the person, we are against the act, the action, not the sinner but the sin. So we have the words openness and welcome of according to Pope Leo the 14th. Of course, we have the previous Pope Francis who mentioned about blessing. So blessing, at the same time we will pray for their conversion. Another set of questions: what does indissoluble mean when we say marriage is indissoluble, and why is marriage called a domestic church? So domestic church because in the family, in marriage, so the the children are being taught how to love, to serve, to help each other, to grow into a mature Christian. So that's the domestic church, the church at home. Family is the domestic church. Indissoluble means the marital bond is a permanent, unbreakable covenant. No one can dissolve because the author of marriage is God. How can a man dissolve? No one can dissolve that marital bond. It will last for a lifetime. Can marriage still be considered a true sacrament if a couple struggles with fidelity or openness to life? Yes. Sacrament. Marriage is sacrament. Is a sacrament. Even if it struggles, that's really a reality. That's really a reality. That's why we have to pray for each other. Pray for your parents. Pray for if you are a spouse, if you are married, pray for your spouse because struggles are there. So it's still a sacrament. It's up to you. God's love is there. His grace is always available. So we have to ask. We have to seek for it. In real life situations, how should a church respond to issues like divorce or annulment while upholding the dignity of marriage? The church is against divorce. Okay, to uphold the dignity of marriage, to uphold the value of marriage. We are against divorce because this is a sacrament of marriage is a sacrament. So we are against this contractual kind of commitment. It's not a commitment because it will expire for years or months or days or hours. So you really have to think about it. Pray for it. So from CCC number 1651, toward Christians who live in this situation, often keep the faith and desire to bring up their children in a Christian manner, priests and the whole community, but manifest an attentive solicitude so that they do not consider themselves separated from the church still they belong, in whose life they can and must participate as baptized persons. So they should not separate from the community. They have to be they have to participate in the activities, in the celebrations of the church. So because they're welcome. Is marriage in church really important? Yes, sacrament. I, as a Catholic, it is really important to be married in the church, to receive the blessing of God, rather than to have it only in uh, an office. Not necessarily you'll have a bodacious reception What's important is the sacrament to be received. Okay? Allow more than two to be married at the same time. What do you mean by this? Marriage is very important, that is special promise between two people. Why do some culture allow more than two to be married at the same time? Oh, more than two to be married at the same time. What do you mean by this? So marriage is only celebrated once. After 10 years, if you will renew your marital vows, then you may do so. But getting married for another uh, time, the second chance with another man, that's a different story. For us Catholics, the marital vows, the marriage vows is until death. So you can get married if your first husband will die. So that's you are allowed to get married for the second time. If your second husband will die again, then you're allowed to get married for the third time because of the vow, because of the promise until death. But if your husband is still alive, then you are married to him, or your wife is still alive, you are married to her until death. But others will still choose to stay uh, widow, stay single, and will not marry anymore. So it's beyond death. If a person had a first marriage that ended in divorce, I believe that I have, because we do not have divorce here. So meaning that is not a sacrament, because we don't acknowledge divorce in the church. Okay, that's not a sacrament of matrimony. That is civil marriage. Okay, curious about vocations, the priest of sins. I pray. I can answer on my own experience. I prayed for my vocation. I prayed for my husband, if he will really be my husband during that time. He's boyfriend my boyfriend. I prayed. I prayed for my vocation, that really I will be happy whatever vocation I will choose, because that is responding to God's call. So before I wanted to be a religious nun, I also felt before that I wanted to be single forever because of my model teacher. Every 2 years, she will go abroad. She will go somewhere to celebrate her being single, celebrate life. However, I was really cold. I am really cold to this vocation married life. Okay, how many years? How many years? 10. 10 to 12 years. 12 years for religious because of the plus 2. The novitiate and the postulancy. For the religious brothers, nuns, they have this aspirancy. And even for the religious priests, like passionists, for example, they have their aspirancy period, the candidacy. Then after the aspirancy, the postulancy. Okay, the postulancy for 1 year, and then another year for novitiate. Then after novitiate, for some religious groups, religious nuns and brothers, after novitiate, they will have their temporary vows. So the first vow, second vow, third vow, like that. And then the perpetual vow, meaning perpetually they commit themselves uh, to be a nun or to be a brother. For the religious priests, after novitiate, They will proceed to theology, and then the profession of vows for second, third, and then uh, ordination to diaconate, and then at least a year ordination to priesthood. Okay, so thank you everyone. I hope that you have learned from the Q&A. God bless you. May you promote the vocations to holy orders and the sacrament of matrimony.